Oi, it's Lady Flo. Welcome, beauties and gents. We all saw Jip Jip on Sir Morbid's podcast. Or actually, was it Ken? Yeah, it was Ken. Now, why is Ken always speaking for Gypsy? And how deep are Ken and Jip? Are they one grain? Two peas in a pod? I mean, is their bond unbreakable? Did they ever break up again in 2024? No. In my opinion, it was all an attention grab. They probably faked a whole breakup for a second time. But this time, it wasn't to get Gypsy out of prison. It was for attention. Now, let's take a look at the first time they planned a breakup.
I reckon it was to plan from the get-go. I don't think there was ever a breakup.
Oh,
I think she was probably already in the talks with Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
She said, he looks a bit better on paper, Ken. I need to get out on parole. I was like, yeah, Gypsy. Yeah, okay, just use the guy. Just use him. And I reckon they were always in the plans. I reckon they never really broke up.
Shout out to our anxious Aunt Queens over there. Yeah, I completely agree with them. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Did Gypsy break up with Ken, but it was all a plan to escape prison the legal way? I mean, girl could have dug a hole, right? But is that realistic when a girl don't want to work? Is girl going to lift a shovel and then dig a hole? No, she's not going to do that. The easy way would be to get parole to release you early. Jep told the media, I don't want to be a burden to my family. I care so much about my family. I want to be independent. So then later on, when she's left Ryan, she tries to justify it to the media again by saying, oh, well, I only married Ryan for the address. Girl was telling the truth, in my opinion. Gypsy told the truth. We should be so proud of her. She told the freaking truth. Now you'd be asking me, what are you talking about, Lady Flo? Well, here's the thing. If Gypsy cared about being a burden, well, then she's living with her family now. Wouldn't she do everything she can to eliminate the burden on the family? Like doing the dishes, mopping the floor, cooking the dinner, mowing the lawn, pulling the weeds. Now, we can give a shout out to the family and be like, hey, Christy, hey, Rod, when's the last time Gypsy was outside pulling weeds? Ever? Oh, y'all have a landscaper. Okay. When's the last time she cooked dinner? Oh, that time with Ken with the spaghetti. Okay. When did she buy you a shower kit or some face masks or buy you some makeup, Christy? That she didn't use. Oh, never? Oh, she buys you stuff or uses your stuff. Okay. Well, that doesn't look like she was worried about a burden. I made videos in the past where Gypsy would be on a live. She would run and be like, oh, I'm using Christy's mask. She'd run back and she'd be scooping it, the last bit of this mask with her fingers. And we're talking about a mask on Amazon that can ship next day for $10. She could have bought it herself. She's not worried about being a burden, let me tell you. So what was the real reason here? She says she married Ryan for the address. Why, though? Why didn't she just move in with Rod and Christy? They had a stable address. Rod has a good job. Christy, they live in a stable home. Why didn't she move there? Well, there is a reason, in my opinion, and I think I'm the first person to talk about this. Remember, Gypsy had a lot of money coming in after 2019. The prison confessions, book deals, Lifetime. Now, what happened to Gypsy before prison? She was in a conservatorship, a financial one with Dee Dee. So if someone has a conservatorship and then they go to prison for a violent crime and then they have tons of money, tons of gold coming in, well, they're going to probably have some type of a mild, maybe watchful conservatorship set up. And that would go to your immediate family. When Gypsy came out of prison, if she moved in with her parents, there probably would have been something set up like, okay, your parents are going to watch over, they're going to kind of watch over your finances. You've got all this money coming in. You're making a lot of legal decisions. We're going to set them up to kind of be your guardian looking over this. But by Gypsy marrying a husband that looks good on paper, who also works in developmental disabilities as a teacher. And you know, she's got all that experience in that department with AKA Nick. Kind of sad. But the reality is, she could have her husband be that guardianship over her finances with her. Remember Britney Spears, her whole saga with the conservatorship? She fought it tooth and nail with attorneys, using the media, all of her fans and following, to no avail. Literally no avail. Until girl married a handsome guy. And then that hubby was now her closest relative. So she could tell the courts, hey, I don't need my parents to conserve over me anymore. I have a husband who can look over me and be my guardian. That's now her closest family. So Gyp, by marrying Ryan, yeah, he had a good address, but so did Christy and Rod. The real thing was, if she married Ryan, we know, he's not the one in control, obviously. They could be together. They could share their finances. He's a teacher. There would be no need for any type of financial conservatorship. She would manage her business, her finances, her contracts with all of these media companies. She could be the boss. Ryan technically is sharing it with her, but was he really? I mean, yeah, he sat on the couch with VI files, but anytime he would speak, she would nudge him. You'd see him just shut right up and get all flustered and look down like he's ashamed. And then, if that wasn't enough, if telling him the night of Valentine's Day that she's in love with Ken wasn't enough to break a guy's heart, well, then Gypsy went on a campaign telling the media, hey, this guy yelled at me and I thought he was going to hurt me. He was going to hit me. That carries a lot of weight in the media. It wasn't like Gypsy went to her sister or her mom and said, hey, I know he didn't do anything. I know he just yelled at me, but I thought he was going to do this and I was scared. Okay? That's not Ryan's fault. If Gypsy assumes and just imagines that someone's going to do something, that doesn't mean that they were going to do it. And it was bad enough if she would have told her mom or her sister that, okay, fine. But girl went to the media. There was only one purpose for this. You wouldn't call the media and be like, hey, yeah, I got in an argument with my guy. Yeah, and I thought he was going to hit me. Well, did he? No, but I thought he was. That's the whole point. You wouldn't do that. No normal person would do that unless they're really trying to ruin someone's life. And the fact that Ryan doesn't see that, well, that's why we don't really feel, well, I still feel sorry for him, but the public and the majority doesn't. They look at him like, dude's something beyond what even a simp would do. Ryan wasn't only the get out of jail card. He was the Monopoly card, the own your financial estate card, the be the boss of all your contract deals card. He was the ultimate Monopoly card. And now, Gypsy is sharing that with no one but herself. The media and the public are finally asking the question, did Gypsy plan this with Ken all along from the beginning? Did they just play the long game? Play a little bit of chess? They're in it to win it. They don't mind being publicly broken up for 2 years if that means they can be together for the long run. Sipping lemonade and checking in their millionaire cash bank accounts. I mean, we've heard stranger things, right? There have been couples who have done extraordinary, pretending to even marry other people for many years so that they can relish and roll around in the millions of dollars. It does happen. Now, if Ken and Gypsy truly love each other, that's great for them. However, how many people have to fall by the wayside for Gypsy's dream of a life of luxury and a life of freedom?